I sit and wait. Yeah. I can fly your way. No pain. I wanna tell you, baby, changes I've been going through. Missing you till you come back to me. That's what I'm gonna do. Why did you have to decide? You had to set me free. I'm gonna swallow my pride, begging please, begging please. By myself to prove that my love is true. Oh, my Savior, till you come back to me. That's what I'm gonna do. I already know Facebook is going to cut me for playing that song, but I love that song. I don't know why, it was just on my mind all day today. So I just played it. Sorry, Facebook. I know y'all gonna cut it. But anyway, tonight we're talking about my bedroom, my business. I'm so glad to be back, y'all, because y'all know I was really sick. Tap on your window pane. Can't find your steps until I get through to you. Till you come back to me. That's what I'm gonna do. All right, y'all. So tonight, okay. No, I don't need to hear me singing. That's what I'm gonna do. That's what I'm gonna do. So tonight, make sure you share this video with somebody. Let them know that we're on. This is After Dark with DocJ. Well, it's not working. I hate when I'm out, totally out of my element. I'm not home right now. So tonight, y'all, I just had to listen to that song. I don't know why it was on my mind like this evening. For some reason, it was on my mind. Let me work with stuff that I have because I don't know. My tablet is not working. Everything's acting up. But anyway, what I'm doing now is sharing the video. I need you guys to share the video. Let everybody know that we are on tonight. We're going to be talking about my bedroom, my business. Put the kids away. This is grown folks conversation. So I'm warning you, I'm going to give you a few minutes to make sure all the children are tucked in because this is not a conversation. This is not child friendly. This is grown folks conversation. So make sure, y'all, again, it seems like every time I'm doing this, like I'm not home. So I'm not home again. I'm actually with my parents and their internet is slow as I ain't even want to get started. So anyway, y'all. So tonight we're talking about my bedroom, my business. I'm happy to be back. Thank you for everyone who was reaching out to me to see how I was doing. I'm actually feeling a lot better. As of, I would say, yesterday. As of yesterday, that was like my first day up, getting around and, doing stuff and getting out and all that kind of good stuff. So, yeah, so I'm feeling a lot better. But that thing kicked my butt. We're not going to talk about that tonight because I don't even want that to be, I don't even want to talk about that. It was not good. So I'm not going to talk about that tonight. But anyway, so y'all come close. Oh, somebody's asking me, did the show start? Yes, the show started. It started. Where y'all at? People texting me like, did the show start? Um, yeah, so y'all come close. Cause tonight I just have some questions. Y'all know I come all the time. I have questions. Cause I need to know. I need to know about this whole bedroom situation. And I'm gonna tell you why in a minute. Let me just finish sharing this to a few people, and then we're going to get started. Um, yeah, if I play that song again, Facebook is going to ban me, so I can't play it anymore. But that was Aretha Franklin song. You know, till you come back to me, that's what I'm gonna do. I love that song. She said, "I'm gonna rap on your door and tap on your window pane." Um, so So anyway, y'all. So tonight, come close. Make sure you share this video with your fam. I mean, well, I ain't gonna tell you who to share it with. Just share the video. Okay. Somebody was giving me a comment. Hey, Keith. Hi, Keith Scott. I'm back. This is a live video. So, like I said, everybody, thank you for your prayers. Thank you for your whoever was praying. Thank you. Like they said, somebody prayed for me, had me on their mind, because y'all, I felt horrible. I haven't felt that way in a long time, but we're not going to talk about that tonight because that was just enough. So I'm looking over there because I'm on Instagram too. The buzzing in the back. I'm at my parents' house. I'm washing clothes. So all the questions that y'all might have, I just answered them for you. Okay. That's it. No more questions. So tonight we're going to be talking about my bedroom, my business. And the reason I wanted to have this particular conversation is because I'm gonna come at it from a different angle, and you guys probably have your own perspective about it, but when you grow up in a religious organization where thank you, Keith. I'm glad you're on. When you grow up in a religious organization where sex is almost taboo, I feel like that's how it was growing up in my religion, where, um, I know as an adult now, like sex should be celebrated. That's something that you enjoy with your spouse. That's something that you should really engage in with your partner and enjoy it. But um, I feel like growing up that we were not really allowed to express our feelings, as young people in discussing it. Like my son is 25, and when my son was maybe like 15, 16, we started talking about, like openly started talking about sex and, the feelings and stuff that they have for the girls and all that kind of stuff. We openly talked about it, but we kind of talked about it in my house, but we didn't like talk about it like I talk with my son. And so I kind of feel like, and I'm just speaking of my religious organization and the way I grew up, I just feel like they almost made, it was two things I felt that they made sex feel like. I felt like they made sex feel like a chore, like it was something that, especially for women, it was something that we had to do for our husbands. Um, and then I feel like it was also something that, you know, you can have sex in your bedroom, but it was certain things that you couldn't do. That's the way I felt growing up. And then as I got older, I realized that I wasn't the only one feeling that way. Um, I was, there were friends of mine who were feeling the exact same way. And so for those of you who are on IG, I just want to say that normally on every night around 10:30 I do a show, and it's called After Dark with DocJ. and I come on and I talk about stuff that normally people don't talk about. So the people over here in Facebook land and YouTube, they already know, but I decided to do, I'm actually recording my podcast as I'm talking to this, and I'm also on Instagram. So anyway, so tonight, for those of you who are just coming in, we're talking about my bedroom, my business, because is it really the church's business or anybody's business about what you do in the bedroom? Hey, 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 godson, love you too. Is it really anybody's business about what you do in the bedroom? So getting back to me, I really felt like in my religious organization that um, sex was something you're supposed to do for your spouse. Speaking of me as a female, I'm supposed to do that for my husband. I cannot um, i cannot deny my husband, and it's something that we're supposed to share, but with limitations, because you can't do everything that you might want to do. Okay, so things like this, oral sex, off limits. Um, and then it's just some things like, I wouldn't do anyway, but all the different, I'll put it in a big package and I'll say exploring. Okay. Exploring is just like it's off limits. It's just something that you don't do. So you end up just um, having sex and also having a little bit of fear that if you do something that you've been taught not to do, that you might go straight to hell, or that God is just not going to be happy with you. And so tonight I wanted to have the conversation, like, how do you feel about it? How do you feel about the bedroom? Should it be any limitations? Should the church be able to say what you can and cannot do in the bedroom? Like, do they have a right to say that? Because my friends, like a lot of my friends that I talk to, they are, hey, Eric, a lot of my friends that I talk to, they're like, you mention some things about sex, or it's almost like if you mention the word sex and you're talking about sexual activities, they kind of shy. And these people are like in their 40s and 50s. But the thing is, because of the way that hey, John, the thing is, because of the way that we grew up, it was like something that was taboo that you don't talk about, when in fact, everybody has sex. Animals have sex, animals, like, they have sex, they enjoy sex, you know. So it's just like, what is the secrecy around it and about it? And so I wanted to have this conversation because I want to know how you guys feel. Do you feel like anything should be off limits when it comes to the bedroom? For example, if you decide that you want to have oral sex with your spouse, should that be okay? Or should that be something that the church mandates? Because I also know, like I said, in my religious organization, oral sex is a no. You know, if you were told that, what would you do? How would you feel? Would you continue? Because here's the thing. I think, when my personal opinion is, when two people get in that bedroom and close that door, especially two very grown married people, when you get in that bedroom and you close that door, I think that, sorry guys, I think that you should be able to do whatever you want to do. That's just how I feel. My church may not like that. They might not like me saying that, but I feel like that. I feel like it should be okay. Why do I need to get permission from the church um, to do certain things when it comes to the bedroom, and when it comes to, because when you're having sex with your partner, that's another form of expression, that's another form of intimacy that you're giving to your partner. So however you choose to please your partner, I think is your business. I don't think that that's anyone else's business but yours. And oftentimes I just find, with the church, with um, some religious people, and just people in general, who have all of these different things about what you should do, what you should not do in your bedroom. You should do this, you should do that. Today on one of the shows, as a matter of fact, we have a show called The Glass House that comes on, and they had gotten into this conversation about, sexual activity, and they were talking about different types of sex, anal sex, and all this stuff. And some people were for it, some people were against it. And my thing is, like I said, when you get into your bedroom and when you get behind those closed doors, I feel like you can do whatever you want to do. I don't need to get permission from my church. But in fact, that's how it was growing up. Um, uh, so Keith said, how does the church know if you're not telling? And that's a great question. Keith, here's the thing. You are put on such a guilt trip. You are put on such a guilt trip with this whole sex thing. And I'm just telling you from my perspective. And Will says oral sex is a no, is a no. He said oral sex is a no, is out of church system. Wow. Yeah. William, I thought you knew that. So it's considered nasty that I've heard pastors say that dogs won't even do that, but humans will do what dogs won't do. Heard my father say that. He's a pastor. Here's the thing, Keith, to answer your question. A lot of times for me growing up in the church, and maybe people who are in the church can relate to what I'm saying, but growing up in the church, they put such a guilt trip on you before you even start engaging in sex, that by the time you get to the point of wanting to have sex, that all of that stuff comes into your bedroom. You laying in the bed having sex. And I'm just telling you, I'm being honest with you. You laying in the bed having sex and then thinking about, oh, I'm not supposed to do this. I'm not supposed to be doing this. Like, this is wrong. And you can't even enjoy the intimacy, the physical intimacy with your partner, because you are so concerned about whether or not God is pleased, what you've been taught in the church, how you've been raised, and all of this kind of stuff, that you really don't enjoy your partner like you should. And I wanted to do this particular show tonight. William says, I want to join live during the conversation. Oh, okay. Let me know. You can come on. I have to see. Do I know how to do that? Oh, you're challenging me tonight. Let me make sure that I know how to do this, because I am not really sure. Keith Keith said stop going to church, or maybe stop. I wouldn't go as far as to say stop going to church. I wouldn't say that. I would just say that, as I said, I think a few nights ago, you have to have that relationship with God. It's up to you to have a relationship and conversations with God to find out. And I feel like God will show you what you're supposed to be doing. In my case, I do feel like in my marriage that I really did not, I really did not give as much as I probably could have given, or enjoyed sex as much as I could have enjoyed it, because I was young when I got married. I got married when I was 22, and I was so, you have this fear and you have this thing looming over your head all the time about the do's and the don'ts of what you can do in the bedroom. And so it may sound strange to some people. I'm hoping that people will jump on who have grown up in the church, and you may really understand what I'm saying. Or some people, it's not even about church. I know people who have grown up and it's just something that they've been taught in their families, that there's certain things that you don't do in your bedroom. So now my next question is, when you don't do the things that your partner may enjoy doing in the bedroom, when you don't do the things that your partner may enjoy doing in the bedroom, what do you think that does to your partner? I'm thinking that your partner will I'm not gonna say I think I know because I experienced it. Um, you can cause your partner to not um, to kind of drift away from the marriage. I'll put it like that. You can cause your partner to drift away from the marriage because you're not really they know that you're not giving 100%. You're not giving all that you can give. They know when you're laying in the bed beside them that you're not 100% there, and it's really sad. It's really sad. William says it definitely sounds strange to me being from my generation. Yeah, 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 yeah. And you know what, Well, the thing is that I don't know, like maybe you could help me with that because we're from the same religious organization. So, when you talk to pastors, well, are they still saying the same thing? Like, I know you're going through marriage counseling. Are they still like teaching the same thing as far as sex, or are they asking you any questions? Now, I do know that you're not supposed to have sex before marriage. We're going to have that conversation another night. We're going to talk about that premarital sex. But if you were in a situation, guys, where you were with someone who had limitations when it came in the bedroom, would that be a deal breaker? Would you feel like this ain't really going to work, or would you be willing to work with that person because maybe they're that way because of some of the things that I've explained to you? So would that be a deal breaker that they have limitations? They may not want to have oral sex. They may not want to have anal sex. They may not want to explore when it comes to sex. They may want to just lay there, you get on top or I get on top, we do what we do, and we're done. Would that be a problem for you? Let me see what William said. William is saying we have to have realistic sexual expectations of our partners. We both have to be our full authentic self in the bedroom. Absolutely. And um that's the way that I actually feel. I feel like um oh, I think I did do it right. I feel like William is correct. Like that's we're partners. We're partners. So if we're partners, it's between us what we want to do. You know. Hey, Will. Hey, Godson. So y'all on Facebook can't see, but I'm on IG. But you'll be able to hear my William just jumped on IG to talk. So Will, I don't know. Like I was asking in your generation, and I know you're going through marriage counseling. Do you get that? Like when you're in counseling about they ask you those sexual questions and what you shouldn't do. And then the other question I was asking is like, if you get a partner who is like, oh, I know we it's certain things in the bedroom we can't do. Okay, we just can't do it. You might say, well, I like having oral sex, and they may be like, oh, that's nasty. I can't. So would that be a deal breaker for you?
All right.
I know I asked a lot of questions.
All right, let me get right. So I'm going to be honest and transparent. So this is just for me.
Right.
So if I met a young lady, no matter at what level, right? If we're just talking. Now, I personally, this is how I've always been. I do not believe that it's too early to ask anything. So I'm putting out all of my questions and all of my things from the outset.
Right.
Because both of us to make an educated decision with all the information at the outset. Right? It is absolutely a deal breaker for me.
Really?
I'm a young woman and she don't give oral sex.
Wow.
He can't even go further. That's my prerequisite.
Wow.
That's uncomfortable. If that's something you don't do, we can be friends. We can be cool. But when it comes to anything that's involving sexuality, we ain't going nowhere.
So the thing is, you're saying that if you meet someone and you're going to put everything on the table about what you like to do when it comes to sex. And I think you should. I think we should, But if that female was to say, okay, oral sex is a deal breaker for me. I mean, if she said oral sex, well, it would be a deal breaker for her actually, because she doesn't want to do oral sex.
You want my response?
Yeah. I'm laughing because his response was he just left the room. He just left the room.
Because listen, keeping it 100, right? Let me qualify this.
Mm-hmm.
Now, one, this is my preference.
Mm-hmm.
I don't force what my preference is on anybody.
Right.
But I need to know what your comfort level is.
Mm-hmm.
And why do you refuse?
Right.
You're talking about grow up. But look, I need to know, because I'm going to tell you me. I only speak, I'm good at being me.
Right.
What I enjoy is receiving oral sex.
Okay.
And also enjoy is giving oral sex, because I'm big into pleasure as well as receiving pleasure. Right. So if a woman told me she don't want oral sex, I got to go. If she don't give oral sex, I got to go. Okay. That's my preference. Okay. Now, we can get into all the other intricacies of the bedroom, but I need to know from what lens are you speaking? Mm-hmm. Is this something you've never tried? Is this something that you're uncomfortable with? Were you touched or molested or something? Is there reasons behind, do you not feel that you are good at it? Did you try it one time and you didn't like it? There's a whole bunch of stuff you have to unpack. But if you tell me that you just not open to it, mm-hmm. I got to go. Who paying for it? I got to go. And somebody else on here said, I gotta leave. They're like, if he one of my best friends. Okay. So he's saying I gotta leave. I got to leave. Now guess what? I don't know. Once again, this may translate differently because of the generations. Mm-hmm. Right? Mm-hmm. So back in the day, given, so I have great aunts in their 70s. Mm-hmm. And my great grandmother, when she was alive, she was in her 80s. Mm-hmm. So she said back in the day, they just had sex. They didn't, my great grandma had 13 kids. Right. Right. So if you wanted to do certain things, you got to go see a lady of the night. You got to go see one of them Jezebels or harlots down on the block. Right. Exactly. And it's, but it's that generation, because even talking to my mom, because I'm here a lot now, and we have those conversations, and I just laugh because my mother is 82, and to her, when you speak about oral sex, she's like, ew, that is nasty. Who would want to put their mouth down there? So. My mother was born in the late 30s. We talking about Harlem Renaissance. Yeah. World War. Yeah. World War II. Right. That's good for them in the baby boomer generation. Right. That's the top of the baby boomers. That's good for them. Mm-hmm. You will not find 5% of my generation. I'm following the millennial generation. Mm-hmm. You will not find 5% of millennials who say, men or women, that they don't want it. You ain't gonna find it. Well, no, not in your generation. No. My homeboy said, "Put your mouth on me." Folks don't even want to talk about it. And so, listen, I'm telling you now, just like how you put on an application, a job application, your prerequisite is your education or whatever. A prerequisite. You can't even sign up for this class. You can't even get this car. You can't test drive it. If you don't put your mouth on me, we almost can't be friends. But we really can't explore any kind of dating or any kind of relationship. I'm just being honest. And I know if my people chime in, they're going to say the same thing. Well, I hope that other people, want to come on, because I really want to have this conversation. Keith said that communication is the key for a sexual relationship or any other relationship. If you can't talk about it, you shouldn't do it. And he said it would be a deal breaker for him. And Keith is older than you. I think, like I said, I just really believe, when it comes to the bedroom, it is your business what you do in your bedroom. But I find a lot of times that I hear, and like I said, I was using pastors, for example, when they get up there and they're preaching about
sex, or like when you go through your marriage counseling and stuff, and they're talking to you about sex, and it's like they talk about sex sometimes like it's taboo, like you shouldn't, just go in there and do what you're supposed to do for your partner, but there are limitations. Don't go in there and do everything. Now that I'm older, if I'm with my partner, like I want to be with my partner. I want to enjoy every bit of my partner. The younger me, like I said, I got married when I was 22. The younger me was so afraid to do certain things because I had been taught that it's dirty, it's nasty, you're going to hell, God is not pleased. So you're laying in this bed with your partner and you can't even enjoy your partner. You know what was one thing that I remember that I was taught too, that you're not supposed to be like tongue kissing and all of that, like when you're actually going out with somebody. like right. But this is the whole thing, and that's why I said I wanted to have this conversation about premarital sex one night, because that whole thing comes in with the premarital sex where no tongue kissing and no touching and all these kinds of things, because it can lead to something else. Keith said church should not give sexual advice to anyone having the he said church should not give sexual advice to anyone having the reputation that they do. And this go ahead, Will.
So one, we're not honest as people, right? That's just one. As people, we wear the mask.
Right.
We walk through life, no matter if you're church or from outside the church.
Mm-hmm.
We have perfected wearing these masks.
Mm-hmm.
And what happens in church, and this is for all folk who have ever been involved in, what people have to understand is church people are some of the biggest sinners and some of the biggest freaks. I say that.
Yes.
A lot of people that come to church, no matter if you're at the mosque or the Kingdom Hall or wherever you're at, if you're a rabbi, it don't matter what religion, you're coming from the world.
Right. Right.
Okay? So most pastors used to be pimps.
Right. You said most pastors used to be pimps? Oh my goodness.
Pastors used to be pimps.
Like
especially back in the day pastors. So the reason why they dress the way they dress and the nice clothing is not to look so benevolent. But when you have a pastor, see, pastors is levels to this. So in your father's generation, they had to wear black and white.
They wore the basic colors. What do they call, like
I have a brown.
Yeah, like black, brown, blue, the earth tone colors. Yeah.
You started getting pastors who used to be pimps, and then they wear the yellow suit. They wear the pink suit. They wear the orange suit.
Yeah.
Because they came out of that, Parliament Funkadelic. They came out of that disco era. They came out of that 60s era in the music. And so what people don't want to be honest about is that the reason that people go so buck wild when they were raised in church is because they have all this pent up sexual energy that someone told them no and was bad. And so they usually wind up going buck wild and crazy, sleeping with Tom, Dick, and Harry.
Exactly. Yep.
Or the first person that they sleep with, they're married to. Because they moved.
Right.
They were 18. They went to college.
Right.
And then their first real relationship is their parents from back in the day. Was telling them to marry that person. If that person didn't give a shit or got you pregnant, you had to marry them. Right. There was no way around it. And so what we have to have a conversation about is how people preach fire and brimstone, how people talked about taboo things or didn't talk about taboo things, swept things under the rug, and how perverted sex. Sex is something beautiful, and it's something wonderful, it's something passionate. But what happened is, because of, you can say music, because of popular culture, because of movies, we took sex from being something innocent and beautiful and just amazing. And made it
Yep.
So they transition from what sex used to be to what sex is now.
Right.
And so people are having more sex, in my opinion, premarital than intermarital.
Well, I think, and you know, you brought out a lot of stuff because you kind of described me. Like we were groomed to, you know, get a good education. You know, of course, go to college, get a good education. Hey, and then after you graduate, you find somebody, you know, and you get married. Because if you go back, William, and you know the people that we know, and you go back and look at people who are like in their 50s and they've been married for like 30 something years, you know, and it's just crazy when I go back. Well, and look at my look at like wedding pictures or, you know, old photos of myself. It's like I was a kid, you know, I was 22, get married, but that's what you're groomed to do. I think sometimes that the church does a disservice by, you know, making us feel like you got to find somebody. And the reason that you find somebody to marry so quickly is so you don't have premarital sex, so you don't sin, you know. So those are the reasons. Now, so I wouldn't read with somebody. I think it's Javon. Okay, he said the problem with church folks is people like to put them on the pedestal. He's right. Put them on the pedestal because of their position. And then he says, you feel so restricted. Yes. Oh, Chelsea, I'm sorry. Blissful Meadow says you feel so restricted. And then when you get free, you just want to explore. Yes. And Javon said
catch them at Taboo, the swingers club, laughing out loud. And then Sharice said, "Hey, y'all."
Yeah, because you know why? Because the thing is, we have a lot of pastors who are, and you brought it out, William, a lot of pastors right now, even as we speak, who are struggling with their sexuality when it comes to, you know, liking men. We talked about this a few nights ago. You know, they're married to a woman, but they like a man. You know, they like having sex with a man. They may not be happy with the sex that they're having with their wife. So they're talking to, oh, y'all, let me tell y'all this. Okay, let me tell y'all this. And this has happened a couple of times, right? We talking about this whole sex thing. So let me tell y'all this. So it was 2 different incidents where, Keith said I got married at 22. Yeah, that's way too young. But there was 2 separate incidents, y'all, where that I know of, that I was a part of. Okay, one was morning service at church, right? The pastor is getting ready to preach. I'm not lying. Pastor's getting ready to preach. This man stands up and he's talking real loud. Then he comes from the pews, starts walking down the aisle towards the pastor, yelling and screaming at the pastor. Nobody knows what he's talking about until he gets up front at that microphone where the praise team was standing, and he starts reading emails and text messages that the pastor had been sending to his wife.
Wow.
And this man was going off because the pastor was just like, you know, everybody, well, I loved him too. I still do, you know, but everybody just loved him. He's like such a great man. And because like somebody said, you know, we put these pastors on a pedestal. And this man went right up front. And I mean, church just, y'all listen, it was chaotic after that. They were trying to put the man out. The man wouldn't leave. They had to call the police. The lady is screaming and hollering. And what the lady was saying, though, what she was saying is that she told the pastor that, because the pastor kept saying to her, you know, I'm going to leave my wife to be with you. Well, we know that ain't going to happen. Let me tell y'all something. This is just an aside. When you out here being the side chick and the side man and all these things, they're not going to leave their spouse or their partner. Okay, they're going to go back. They're going to play with you and get all that they can get from you. And when you start putting them up against the wall, they're going to pull back and they're going to leave you alone, which is what this pastor did. He was just like, look, I'm going back to my wife and my kids. And because he did that, she showed everything to her husband, and the husband showed everything to the church. Now, y'all, the other time I was in prayer service, right? I'm in prayer service. Child, we were getting ready to have praise and testimony. It's not even funny, but it's so real. It's so real. Jerron says, those DL brothers. Yep, Jerron. And that's what we were talking about last week. We were talking about brothers on the down low. So this other time I'm at prayer service, and it was a really long day. So I'm there at prayer service. We're about to have praise and testimony. If y'all go to Wednesday night prayer service, they have a testimony time. Testimony. It's about what God has done for you, what God has brought you through, and how great God is. Well, let me tell you what. This sister stood up.
There's a whole bunch of brothers out there.
Yeah, I saw that. And so this woman stood up and she started giving her testimony. But her testimony was this. She started talking about the relationship that she was in with our pastor. Y'all, she was in a relationship with the pastor. She gave that as her testimony about what they had been doing, where they've been going. She's reading. And y'all got to stop with sending these. If you're trying to cheat, stop sending text messages and emails and all this kind of. Stop doing that, because we keep that. I know women will keep that. We use that as collateral, So we keep it. Stop doing that. Just say it. Just say what you got to say. But anyway, she had all of this stuff that the pastor had been sending to her. And so, needless to say, testimony service turned into a mess because that was her testimony. I want to read to y'all exactly what this pastor has been saying to me, because again, she had been promised from the pastor that he was going to leave his wife. Okay. She said, Javon said, men do too. He told her he was going to leave his wife to be with her. Y'all, that's not going to happen. So, he thought by pulling back and leaving her alone that it was all to the good. This woman waited until Wednesday night prayer service, and she stood up and gave her testimony of what the pastor had been doing for her. Amen. So that was her testimony. And so, I'm just saying all of that to say that he said somebody said world star hip hop. I'm just saying all of that to say that as much as the church may come down on our sexual activities and what we should be doing, we got to look at the pulpit, from the pulpit all the way to the back door. Because as I said when I first started this live, that we all engage in sex. Those of us who are have a partner, some people don't have a partner. Me, I'm remaining abstinent. I just can't. I can't. I'm being abstinent, because it's just too much. And I just prefer to just remain abstinent until Jesus sends me somebody. And if he don't, then I got to figure it out. Because I was just like, my situation, Will. So I'm just like, no.
So let me get what you.
Go ahead.
So we got a couple different schools of thought, right?
Right.
And so, me growing up.
What she said? He said, amen. I don't want to be touched. I don't want to be touched either. I know that's right. And somebody said facts, throwing it in a circle.
and one of my other friends said hello. She joined.
Hey.
9-12-10. So this is the thing, right? So I think because we got a lot going on, so we got to figure out some ground rules or some definitions.
Right.
And so it depends on. Oh, hold on. So Rakeem said, "Why do women fall for pastors, knowing that they, I guess, deal with all the
women in the church?" Yeah. Yeah.
All right. So look. So we're gonna hit a couple different. I'm gonna try to hit a couple different spots.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I'm gonna hit the last thing and then come back. So what Keith said, women fall for pastors for many different reasons.
Mm-hmm.
One, when you look at the church ratio, there's an overwhelming number of women in the church and a small number of men.
Mm-hmm.
And most times, this is just my experience, the pastor is such a benevolent figure. He's a husband, he's a father, he's a leader. He's
Jesus. He's Jesus. He's Jesus. You know, he's Jesus. Yes.
The way that church is structured, usually most times, especially back in the day, the pastor is standing at the podium up on the stage.
Right.
And so you're automatically looking up.
Mm-hmm.
And from a mentality standpoint, from a mindset standpoint, you're looking up to this person.
Right.
But there's a genuine love that men and women have for their pastor.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm going to tell you like this.
Do you think it's genuine, though? You said the word genuine.
I'm going to tell you my opinion, and then we can flush it out.
Somebody said power tripping, mostly. I agree with that. Yeah.
I agree, right?
Mm-hmm.
But when you think about your leader,
Mm-hmm.
think about your leader. Your leaders are genuinely somebody that you not just follow, but that you are loyal and committed to, and you would take a bullet for.
Right. But let me stop you right there, because I'm looking at it from this standpoint. Like, I'm a PK. With PK, for those of you who don't know, that means pastor's kid. And so I grew up around pastors, and my dad being a pastor. And the one thing that I see, especially with women, is that they love the power that these pastors have. Everybody wants to be first lady. Everybody want to be lady this and lady B and lady Brown and lady who and whoever. You know, everybody wants this power, and they look at these men like they are so powerful, like they don't make any mistakes. Oh, I was about to say something, but I can't say it because then the person would know I was talking about them. But
Mom, they are powerful. Don't get it twisted.
No, they are. They are. But why? I got to go back to something that Keith said. Why do women fall for pastors? And Keith, I'm gonna tell you, it's because a lot of women like that power. They like that prestige. They like walking arm in arm with the pastor with their hat on, you know, looking good. It's a powerful thing for them. Even me growing up being a pastor's kid and going to different churches, and at the moment we get there, like, oh, the Pastor Jenkins family is here. Move out of the move. Let them sit right there. You know, it's like, you know, I kind of know what it feels like when you see the celebrities out, for example, and everybody wants to touch the celebrity and they want to be around them. And I think that's why I like being by myself, because growing up, everybody wanted to touch us, and it wasn't about us. It was because they wanted to get closer to my dad. I've had guys who wanted to date me to get closer to my dad. People who wanted to be friends with me to get closer to my dad, because they put these people on pedestals, and they and you got to be a pretty strong person when I say pastor to not allow this to go to your head. And this is why they're able to get into them drawers so quick, because these women will drop them very quick because they want to be with the pastor.
Absolutely. So look, Jerron said, yet leadership is a skill set, not a position. So watch who you crown leader. I agree with you.
Yes.
But take it to a deeper place, right? Since we're fleshing out this conversation. People typically want the lifestyle of celebrities, leaders, or pastors.
Right.
Don't want
what comes with it. Exactly.
Who has nice cars, they have security, they look like they may have their life financially, they might be financially well off, the middle class. Some pastors nowadays are mega pastors. So
flying in jets and stuff like that. Yeah.
All that. So typically, and this is another thing, when you're indoctrinated, you're programmed, you're taught to do this and that, and you have a set of do's and don'ts. And so, you know, the pastor, I wrote it down on my notes, the pastor is the mouthpiece of God. Think about how deep that is. Because what we're saying is, and for anybody who's raised in any religious background, the imam, the pastor, the teacher, they are the ones that have studied, they are a professional. They typically have a doctorate, a master's, most times at the very least a bachelor's. And so they are put in a professional. They're also marriage counselors. They're family therapists. They're clinicians. So the pastor also is the one who you tell your secrets to, your business.
Well, let me stop right there for a minute. Okay, you said a lot. Oh my goodness. See, I be trying not to have this conversation about these pastors and churches, y'all, but Will said a few things that I have to touch on. Number one, Will, I'm going to say this, and I've said this to some of my friends who are going through some struggles right now since the pandemic is going on. You know, they're contemplating separation and divorce. I'm gonna go talk to the pastor. Here's the thing. This is the reason why, you know, there are schools everywhere and there are different type of degrees that you need to get. Okay. So like I told my friends, if I need a GYN exam, I'm not going to my podiatrist, which is a foot doctor. Okay. I'm going to find somebody whose specialty is in gynecology. Okay. Because I'm having some female issues, not foot issues. And I find that a lot of people will go and sit in front of pastors who have zero. It just bothers me so much. They have zero experience when it comes to counseling, therapy. They're sitting there giving their opinion about what you should do and how you should do it, and don't have a bit of experience in none of it. And I keep telling my friends, stop going to these people because they have no clue. They have no clue about what they're talking about. If you are in a situation, calm down. Woo, I got to do a woosah. I had to do a woosah, y'all. He got me started. If you are in a situation where you need counseling because you are going through something that is so dire and so hard, and you don't know how to get through it, find a professional. Find a professional person, marriage and family therapist, a marriage counselor. Find people who actually work in that field, who can help you out. Because if you don't, you may not get the advice that you need. It just bothers me so much because sometimes, like with these Zoom things, these virtual church services, which I can't stand, but these virtual church services they have now. I watch the pastors on a lot of these platforms. They want to sing. The praise team is singing. They jump in and they start singing. You know, now they singing. The usher is ushering. They telling them how to collect the offering. The man is playing the organ. They telling him how fast to play, how slow to play. And sometimes I'm just sitting there saying, just preach the sermon. But we as parishioners have given them so much power and have put them on such a platform that a lot of these pastors feel like they can do whatever the heck they want to do. Keith said, I disagree with the church woman who's fooling around with the pastor, knowing that he's fooling around with other women. It's just nasty, he says. He says it's nasty.
I give a different perspective on that. So I like the stack. I like to keep it all the way 100.
And right? Can you read those comments for me?
Yeah. So Jerron said facts. I'm doing it now. Mental health is everything. So I think one of my friends, he's doing well in therapy.
Good for you.
I'm proud of you, bro. That's important. Another homeboy, my core, he up therapy, so I want to shout him out.
Absolutely.
But this is the thing, right? What people have to understand is, let's take it biblical. Let's take it, right? Women don't be viewed as the plural
Mm-hmm.
Or I'm trying to make sure I get my words right, but if in certain cultures, in certain religions, if a woman doesn't get married, she looked at, and you can tell me from right or wrong, she looked at as useless. That one of her main roles in women coming up from your mother's generation was supposed to get married
and have children. Right.
Your husband is the head of the household.
Yep.
And he makes the final decision. He has the final say over everything. Okay? Now, back in the day, the way that religion was structured and the way that this country was structured is that women were to be silent. They were to be seen.
Right. And not heard. Right. Because the man was in charge.
Make the decisions for a woman. If we went to the restaurant, you don't speak, you don't order, I order for you. So that was the structure. Right? And, a woman's role, we're going to get in the roles because we're taking you through history. A woman's role was to rear the children and to make sure the home
was clean. Yeah.
was flowing. That was her role.
Right.
But also at that time, we're talking about white Anglo-Saxon Christian men or just white men ruling over everything. So blacks weren't considered. We were property. Africans who came over who were enslaved. We didn't come over. We were enslaved and brought over. We were property. And white women were not viewed as having. White women weren't included in the Constitution, and neither was blacks or Africans. We were property. Neither black women. And so a man. No, and you can look at African culture. You can look at European culture. You can look at African culture to an extent, to a certain period of time frame. Or you can look at a Latin culture or a Spanish culture or whatever culture. Men ran the world and ran the household. And so that permeated through the church.
Right.
And so that's where you have the power dynamics come into play. Because the man is viewed as that figure. And so when we're talking about the psychology, because church is a psychological thing, it's a spiritual thing, it's a physical thing, so it's a financial thing. It's so many layers to it.
Right.
And so how I get to bring it up to now is that in the Bible, and this is the Bible, this ain't William's words, it's the Bible. If a man died, and the brother of that man would get with his wife because he would be the next father in line. Right. And the children would go from being his nieces and nephews to his children. And then he would continue to procreate the family. Right. So it's a lot of things that we don't always look at the Bible as parables. We look at the Bible as literal. People read the Bible and say this was literal. They don't say figurative. They say this really happened. Right. And so when we think about and we read the Bible, because people don't contextualize the Bible. They look at the Bible, they read it and interpret it and fit it to today's time and to this region. And so I say all that to say that we get with people, women, I'll share with you. I didn't have a father. Any man who gave me time or attention was my automatic father. Whether or not I asked them to be, whether or not they wanted to be, in my mind, and how I would carry myself, and still to today, at 32 years old. Now I'm doing some self-work, but at 32, any man, you my brother, you my uncle, you're my father. And we look at pastors as our spiritual father. Okay, so let me stop you there. So, and I get everything that you're saying, and I like that analogy that you gave about every man was your father. I like that because I also think that we can say the same for women. Like there are a lot of women who did not grow up with a father, or did not have that man figure in their household. And so when they do get to church and they, see a pastor, and this pastor is very charismatic, and the pastor's,
and I've seen these pastors, they hugging you, they act like you're the only one at the church, and they having a conversation with you. A lot of times women get caught up in that because they haven't experienced that before. Yes. And some people know how to experience the moment, and then you have people who want to take it to the next level. Now, yes. Even, there were women, throughout my dad's career, women that were trying to get at him, but he was the kind of person like, no, he came home, told his wife, this is what happened. This person tried to do X, Y, Z, so he killed it, he squashed it. But the temptation, I think right now in this day and age is so great. I don't even know how did we get from the bedroom to this? We got to get back to the bedroom. But the temptation, yeah.
All together, right?
Because
think about you and I know this is my godmother, so
yeah.
We can talk, and I ain't sharing nothing.
Right.
In her marriage, and to her late 30s, 40s, and even quick walking into her 50s,
right.
Her parents' opinion weighed heavily.
Yes. That's what I was trying to explain to Keith, because Keith was asking me why was the church so involved, and that's what I was trying to explain to him. Like growing up, like when you grow up in I can only speak of my religious organization, but the way we were brought up, like it was on you so much. There's certain things you don't do that even in your adult life, it's like you can look in the mirror and say, I'm 25 years old, I'm 30 years old, I'm 40 years old, but you still have them in your ear like you better not do that, And so it keeps you. I don't know if it's a fear or what it is, but it's like it keeps you from really giving all you can give and enjoying all that you can in this relationship, because you're so worried about what they taught you.
It is a fear, and let me tell you why it's so deep rooted. And because we want to get back to the bedroom,
mm-hmm.
but we have to, for everybody who's watching and who will watch, we got to unpack and explore some things to say how we got to where we got. So the only reason we can be in our present state of things is because we had a past.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, while we're in our present state of things, we're trying to set ourselves up for what our future will be.
Mm-hmm.
And so trying to break the generational control and cycle and fear in the present tense,
mm-hmm.
so we can have a better future, and so our kids and grandkids don't repeat
right.
the same things that hindered and hurt us. And so
because William, let me ask you this. So what is, and not just to William, but anybody who's listening, watching, or whatever. I mean, so what really is the big deal about two people who love each other, who are in a relationship, having oral sex? And that's the agreement that they came up with. I don't even think it's something you have to agree on, but I mean, if you love your partner, you just explore, basically you're exploring. So it's just like,
you can't say that.
Okay.
And I'm going to tell you why you can't say that. Because before you can explore, and any women or men who hear me can chime in
mm-hmm.
on Facebook, Instagram. Before one can explore, you have to first be comfortable. Because you can't explore without being comfortable. You may not touch or go into certain places and areas because, one, your body isn't comfortable. So you will automatically tense up
mm-hmm.
because it's not comfortable. Two, some people are not comfortable with their body image. And so they may not even take all their clothes off.
Mm-hmm.
They want you to see
right.
certain markings or certain, you may be a bigger person or a smaller person.
Mm-hmm.
And so you got to be, before you can do anything with anybody sexually, you want to first make sure that they agree to this.
And that and like somebody said, and like we've been saying all along, that you have these conversations. Oh my goodness, we're over an hour. Like I got to hurry up and close this out. So, because I try to keep it down to an hour because it's my podcast too. But anyway, William, let's jump back to the bedroom real quick. So let's jump back to the bedroom. And y'all, anybody that's on here, feel free to comment. If you want to come on and say something, feel free to do so. And don't be a stranger, because we're on every night talking about stuff that people normally don't just talk about. So we talk about it here. But anyway, back to the bedroom.
Let's go.
Back to the bedroom. So is it a sin? I think the big question is it a sin to explore and go outside the boundaries of what the church says is okay? Because the church is also saying that it's in the Bible. And I got to really read up on that. Because, yeah, I'm going to have to study that and I'm going to have to come back. But is it a sin? Do y'all think it's a sin to explore and go outside of what the church considers the norm for having sex? What you think, William?
Well, first, who made the church the authority?
We'll see. When the church, and this is the thing, like when the church is saying this, it's like, you know what? Let me look something up real quick. But it's like what they're saying is that it's in the Bible.
So check this out. I haven't seen that scripture. I ain't seen the scripture say missionary versus doggy style.
Right.
That you can't tongue kiss, but you only can give text. I ain't seen that.
Yeah.
And then I even debate with all pastors about masturbation. Because that's extremely clear.
Mm-hmm.
And so, one, let me answer your question as you stated. In my opinion, if I had to go from my knowledge base and my experiences,
mm-hmm.
I'm going to say no. It is absolutely not a sin. But now then we get into another area of, do you believe that a man and woman is the actual relationship that you should have? But that's a
whole nother topic.
But I'm going to say, for the purposes of this conversation, that no, you should be able to explore with your partner. But let me give you a caveat to that, Godmom. I talked to a close relative of mine. I'm not going to say whether it's he or she, but they say that they are not able to be their full, authentic self with their partner or the past partners that they've had. And so they give a piece of themselves.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So guess what? I need to be able to say, if I want to explore sex toys, I need to be able to say, if I want to explore adding somebody else, I need to be able to be my authentic self 100%.
Mm-hmm.
Because if I'm not, then that is going to lead to a lot of other things being brought into the bedroom.
Right.
So if you just want me and you to be in there, then I need to be able to fully explore and you be able to fully explore our sexuality together. So if I want to try something wild and freaky, if I want to lick something, if I want to kiss something, then I need to be able to fully explore that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And guess what? You're not saying me, and I'm not saying you.
Right.
Because then there's a level of, you get to a place when you start to explore whether, then you start talking about, are you a real man, or are you a real woman, or what makes you soft, or all of that.
Mm-hmm.
And so I might want to be held. I might want to be cuddled. That don't make me soft or
Mm-hmm.
calm.
Mm-hmm.
And I might want to be consoled. Guess what? I might not want to have sex tonight. I just might want to lick.
Right.
And so, you know,
Got you.
said, well, you better watch it. Kelsey said, Jerron said, don't do it, laughing out loud. Sharif said, how we all single and unmarried, but talking about the bedroom. Kelsey said, in a technical sense, yes. So I think she was responding to the sin part.
Mm-hmm.
If you read the Bible, the don't commit fornication covers anything outside of marriage, but it does say the marital bed is undefiled. So that means to her, and also to me, that nothing is off limits. And so I agree with some of what Chelsea said, that you don't want to not please or fulfill your partner, because then that opens up for other people and other things to come into the bedroom that you didn't I'm gonna keep it a whole stack. If you cannot meet me at my sexual need, we need to depart. We need to separate. We need to go our separate ways. We need to love each other from a distance. We need to end this thing.
Because if your partner, and I'm asking you, if your partner, let's say your partner cannot meet your sexual needs, that means that you're going to be looking somewhere else. That will cause you to start focusing and looking somewhere else because you're not getting what you need from your partner. And see, this is exactly why I say, what you do in your bedroom is your business, because I need to do what I need to do to keep my man focused on this right here. And he needs to do what he needs to do. Yes. Yes. Yes.
We got a safe word and a word to say keep on going.
Yes.
But guess what? These are conversations that you, and this is for everybody who know me and don't know me and know you, and are dating or figuring out their relationship status or situation. You have to talk about these things early.
Right.
You can't wait 6 years into the marriage or 4 years into the situationship or all of that. Or you already had sex. No.
Right.
You need to discuss this before.
Right. Before.
Know if you got a 90-day rule, because I might not want to wait 90 days. And guess what? You need to let me know if you got a 90-day rule. Well, guess what? Are we dating exclusively? We have to define
all of that. Yeah.
Guess what? I might be having sex with somebody else until I get to your 90 days.
Right. And somebody said, are we talking about marriage? I'm actually talking about marriage tonight. Like if you're married, but again, a lot of people don't want to be married, but they've been together for I have friends that have been together for 12, 13 years. So they consider themselves married. My thing is, if you're in a committed relationship, I'll put it like that. If you're in a committed relationship, and the thing is, y'all, I really want people to understand that what you talk about with your partner, that's between y'all. That's like your business. That's the agreements that you all are making when it comes to what we're going to do in our bedroom. I don't care if you decide that, okay, I want to add a third person. That's between you and your partner. And this is my whole thing about me with this topic, my bedroom, my business. It is your business what you do. But the thing is, like we've been saying, and I said every night that I'm on here, have those conversations, as hard as it may seem. One of the things with me, okay, that when I meet guys, they want to go out, they want to talk, they want to laugh, they want to touch, they want to do this and that. But I'm very clear, there's not going to be any sex. Okay. So the majority of the time, that was the last date.
Hold on, let me give you something, right? Because I know Cherie needed clarity.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
But what we have to also explore is that most people are not married.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah.
What our religious marital standards are.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the thing. See, marriage is what we're trying to obtain
Mm-hmm.
and trying to aspire to. But let me keep it a whole 100. I've been having sex for 16 years.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't. I lost my virginity at 16. I've been rolling ever since. And so, with not many breaks in between, I'm just full step.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you're saying marriage, well, I ain't married yet. That's something
right.
I'm aspiring to. And I have some friends over here who are going through a divorce.
Mm-hmm.
I have some friends over here who's never been married.
Mm-hmm.
And you yourself has self-proclaimed that you have been divorced.
Right.
And so that single space. And so I believe in the concept of my bedroom, my business, but what happens is we open up windows to our bedroom and open up windows to our business when we start talking.
Mm-hmm.
And our feelings and emotions on Twitter, on Instagram, when people can see what your bedroom looks like, and you got that blue dildo on the nightstand, or that rose charging on the counter cabinet. And so the thing is, we have to be honest. majority of Americans are not married. And so what we're talking about is I think we have to tailor our speech to the population who's not married. And 50% of marriages end in divorce over finances. We ain't even talking about infidelity. We talking about finances.
Yeah.
And so, but a large percentage of marriages end because of infidelity. And I believe, this is William's word, not anybody else's. I believe most people cheat because they are unsatisfied in the bedroom. I don't believe most people cheat just because of greed. I believe most people are not getting the type of attention.
True, I agree. Yeah.
And I gotta be honest. I gotta give my testimony. See, I believe coming up from 16 when I started having sex, that intimacy equals sex. My relationships and my dealings, when people would ask me about my love language, it's physical touch. And physical touch equated to me kissing, hugging, hand holding. But at some point, we got to get to the sex thing. And so we have to be honest about what our definitions are. Because when I'm meeting someone and they're meeting me, we've already had experiences. And so we are the sum of our life experiences. That's what the professor taught me. And so we're walking into this arrangement, into this dating life. If a girl tell me she's not with sex, well, guess what? I got to be honest. We're probably not going to be talking that long. You tell me we can't talk about sex, we can just be cool.
Right.
If sex is off the table, then why am I talking to you?
Right.
I need to talk to somebody else whose sex is on the table.
Because you're sexually active and you need to have sex. I got it. So William, go back. Can you go back and read some of those comments for me? Because it was some really good comments on there.
All right. So Cherie said sex was not designed for committed relationships. Okay. And Chelsea said, thank you. Men think we have these sexual conversations that automatically means I want to have sex. No. Sometimes we just want clarity and understanding of the other person so we're clear. Cherie said, so just keep on sinning until we walk down the aisle. Deron said, don't get me started. Chelsea said, I agree 100%. Cherie, she done drove off in the car. So let me speak to Cherie. Because Cherie is on this marriage. She trying to get to the aisle. Now, I know Cherie, but I don't know if Cherie have been married.
Okay.
Right? I ain't putting your business out, but I just know she got a couple kids. I see they big people. Right? And so this is my thing. You cannot tell people that they should be abstinent. You cannot tell people that they should not have sex. You can't tell me what to do and what not to do. You can't. Now, Cherie has said she has been married. To my knowledge, I don't think she is anymore. And so, what one of my great pastors taught me is that you cannot make your preference the principle. Now, my preference may be contrary to what my religious institution says. That's my preference. That's my path. That ain't theirs. So when it comes to sex, that's the part I got to debate you up and down with. You got to pull out every scripture for me. You got to show me Bible and verse, precept, context. You got to show me it all. Because that part I don't agree with.
So let me ask you this, because right now you're going to marriage counseling right now, right?
Right. Yeah.
But hasn't that come up about like whether you all are having sex?
Say what?
Hasn't that come up in the conversation in your counseling about whether or not you're having sex?
I've been having sex for 16 years. Any pastor I talk to, I'm not about to sit here and lie to you. Yeah, we having sex, and it's good. Then what's the next question? I'm not about to lie. You know what I'm saying? Because listen, I have not been in a committed, and I'm gonna keep it a whole. Let me take my glasses off. Let me keep it sweat off my brow. It is no committed relationship that I'm going to enter into. This is William. This ain't the gospel of Jesus. This is William. I'm not about to be with you in a serious, significant way. Spend my time, attention, talent, and money. And I got to affirm you. We got to work in this thing, and we ain't having sex. Oh no, I ain't about to.
Okay, so William, you know what? I'm gonna need you to come back later on this week because we're gonna have that conversation. Because in the word, okay, going back to church, when you go back to church and when you talk about church, you are taught that you should not have sex before marriage. So if you're
practicing that, you're teaching something that you're not practicing.
Right, but if you're saying, okay, I really like this woman, but you know, she's going according to what the Bible says, that she's not going to have sex before marriage, and you throwing your hands up like, look, this ain't gonna work. It was nice knowing you, but this ain't going to work. But according to the Bible, and that's what we're gonna talk about later on this week, you know, you're supposed to be saving yourself for your husband or your wife, the person that you.
Listen to me, because that's some bull job. That's some bull job. But let me read the comments and then I'll tell you. So it's not about my preference. The Lord has laid it down. I agree with you. It's clear in the word if you read the word. And then Cherie said, ain't no woman of God going for that. And then Sharon said, yeah. Let me tell you the truth. Anytime that I've abstained from sex or tried to practice celibacy, it's not what I wanted to do. I only did it because that's what she wanted, and I wanted to try to stay with her and to, you know, appease her. I did not do it because I was convicted by Jesus. Jesus did not descend from heaven and say, William, stop having sex. He ain't never told me that. I ain't never felt guilty about, you know, whatever. So I'm just telling you, me. It ain't never, oh man, I feel so bad. I ain't never felt bad. You know why? Because I knew what I was doing. I didn't blame the devil. Nobody whispered in my ear. I didn't trip and fall in that thing. I went in that thing head first, feet first. I dived in that thing. And so I'm just being honest. Cherie said, as a man of God, neither should you. Chelsea said he can't date no woman of God, then he needs I don't know if she said
a faux Christian, like a fake Christian woman.
Okay. My homeboy said, "Hey, ski, hey, good night." But listen, I'm saying that in my opinion, this is just my opinion. Now, I'm still on this journey and I'm still on this walk. I ain't there yet, so don't think, you know, I try, you know, all that. I talk to Jesus every day. What my battle is, what my struggle is for me. I believe that women, as a whole, have better discipline. I believe women, as a whole, have learned how to say no from very early on. Women have been rejecting Negroes for centuries that have tried to holler at them. And so I don't believe that, and this is just me, cold shower ain't going to work for me. All that kind of nonsense that they told you to do, reading the Bible and this thing rock solid ain't gonna work for me. It ain't, the book ain't gonna, the scripture ain't gonna help me. And so I'm just telling you, me, I can't speak for anybody else, but I think we have to be honest about ourselves. I think the 90-day rule is the dumbest thing ever because I'll just wait 90 days to get it and hope it's good. And if it ain't, I'm out this joint. And so we have to be honest. That's why we got to put this thing.
Oh man. So one night this week, we're going to have a show about test driving the car. Do you need a test drive before you actually go into the relationship? Do you need that? And then the question is, how many test drives do you need to take? Because let's say you test drive this woman and she ain't good. You ain't like it. So you leave her, you go somewhere else, and you like, you know what? I can't really be in a committed relationship until I test drive this car. So the question is, how many test drives, and this is for male or female, how many test drives do you need to take? And the second part of that is, in doing these test drives, women, does size really matter? Does size matter? Okay. Somebody said, Will, I'm going to throw something at you. Well, she said, what I look like committing to a man that can please.
Before she go all the way in, she said, What I look like commit to a man that cannot please me? Absolutely not. Cherie said, well, I'm going to throw something at you. Jerron said, oh, hell yeah. She might be trash, and he can't keep it hard enough for you. Chelsea said, as many cars as I find, as many test drives as I need until I
All right, y'all. Well, we're going to have to close. We got to go. Like, this has been a really, really good conversation. Thank you for the people that's on IG, the people on YouTube, Facebook, the people on the radio. Y'all, my name is DocJ, and I like to come on every night and have these conversations that people just don't, especially church people, they just will not talk about it. They talk about everything but getting deep down into this sex and all this other stuff that we all participate in. You know, it's not a bad thing. And the bottom line, this is what I want to say in closing about all of this whole thing about my bedroom, my business. You know what? It is your bedroom and it is your business. And you do whatever you and your, as long as you both agree to it and you're not in there doing something, because there is such thing as marital rape. As long as both people in there consenting to what's going on, nobody's being forced to do anything. That is your business. It's not the pastor's business, the deacon's business. It shouldn't be your family's business. It shouldn't be social media's business. That is between you and your partner. Enjoy the highest form of love that you can give is yourself, to give your body to your partner and just give it fully without anything holding you back. You just freely loving your partner, kissing your partner, hugging your partner, engaging in whatever type of sex you want to engage in. This is between you and your partner. And what I would say to you is enjoy, enjoy, enjoy. Like a couple of the guys said that were on tonight. You know, you want to make sure that you're giving everything that you can give to this person in front of you so they don't have to look anywhere else. They can't, you want this person to be like, I can't wait until I get home to see what we're going to explore tonight. Or some of y'all might come home on lunch break or something like that. I don't know, on vacation, y'all might really get in it. Well, however you do it, enjoy the person that you're with. Don't let anybody put restrictions on your bedroom. Nobody has the right to put restrictions on your bedroom and the love that you want to show to your partner. That is up to you and the person that you're laying beside. So guys, make sure that you join me. Every night we come on at 10:30 and we talk about so much stuff. And this week, we're definitely going to be talking about how many times do you need to test drive the car? And ladies, as you're doing the test drive, does size really matter? Does it matter to you if he's big or small down there? Does it matter? Because I know to a lot of women, it does. It really does matter, like how he's packing down there. So it really does matter. So we're going to have that conversation. If you want to be like Will and you want to just come on the screen and just talk, you can feel free to talk. I say every night, it's a no judgment zone. I'm not judging you on anything because we all got our sins and my name ain't Jesus. I'm just here, just doing the show to give us a platform to be able to talk. So make sure that you tune in tomorrow night. You can also go to ladyjmedia.com. You can check out my webpage and all the other different stuff that we have going on, the magazine, the shows that we have nightly coming on. And if you want to be a part of what we're doing, just let me know. There's a way to contact me and let me know. So thank you so, so very much. Thank you, Will. Love you. Love you. And thank you for always being so transparent. Always. Always being so transparent. Thank you. I really appreciate it. You guys have a good night. Have a good night. My name is DocJ, and I will talk to you tomorrow night at 10:30. Look out for the flyer. It'll be out, so you'll see what we're talking about tomorrow night. Bye, everybody. Good night.